Dixon, and I'm here with Betty Withrow, and we run under the banner of Total Traffic and Conversion. And today we're going to talk about a client of ours, Margo Arrowsmith, and she has a program called Your Perfect Retirement Living, and really to help people understand what their options are when they get to that time where either they have to have care or move into a facility or find independent living. And she's a great person to do that. She's going to be on here. She's going to jump on probably in 10 or 15 minutes. But meanwhile, I thought we would talk about how we got to the point we are today. So we started off with a power presentation and video pack. That's what she signed up for. And maybe, Betty, you could explain how that works.
Sure, Greg. Well, the power presentation and video pack involves a stack of features to help you be really effective in presenting yourself to your audience and to your market. The first element is me working with you to create your business biography, your what I love about my business statement, and a group of introductions that you can use in networking. 10, 30, and 60 seconds. Now, a lot of people really struggle with presenting themselves. Everybody that I have written a business biography for has told me, I hate writing about myself. In fact, one of the top business coaches around told me, I can write everybody else's sob story, but when it comes to my own, I just can't do it. So I did it for her and crafted her speaker introduction. And so that's what it's really all about, is getting you to see yourself from the angle that you don't see yourself because you're busy being yourself. And then when you have that biography, you can see what the world sees as though you're the wine in the bottle and your presentation is the label on the bottle. Along with that, I also provide bullet points for that presentation, so you can take all the stuff that you've gleaned out of working with me and getting your bio together and put it on your social media, use it as bullet points for your posts, incorporate it in your sound bites, anything like that. Now, that's the first step. The second step is that you go through the mini course that this is a short version of my course called 3 Golden Apples for Business Writing Success. That incorporates the 3 elements of any successful marketing message. First of all, who is your market? Where do they hang out? How do they speak? That's called speaking in the language of your market. Second of all, how do you position yourself to be the only choice for what you're asking for, the piece of business that you're asking for? What makes you the only choice to fill that gap, the need that your prospect has? And third, and certainly central to the whole thing, is what are they going to get from working with you? Because that's what every customer really wants to know, is what's in it for me. So with those 3 things, language, choice, and outcomes, we nail your message, and then you can use that knowledge to drop it into the templates that I provide for creating the scripting for your videos. At that time, I turn you over to the video master. That would be Greg, and he works with you to create amazing videos that you can use anywhere, on your website, on your social media, on your YouTube channel, anywhere you like. So that's the power presentation and video pack. Well, I did a presentation of this is called Why You Need a Business Biography, which there's a lot of different reasons for that. And as a result of that presentation, Margo decided that she would hire this team of myself and Greg to put this together for her. And that has evolved into creating her course and us working on getting her course created and marketed. So it's been a very rewarding relationship. Margo knows her stuff. She's been working with people of a more advanced age ever since she was 16, when most people were of a more advanced age than she. Now she's quite a bit further along and has been advocating for people and doing social work and consultations and working as a therapist for many years. So like I say, she knows her stuff. She's got the case studies to prove that she can help you understand what are your options. What are your choices? How do you communicate with those you love when you come to a place where it's clear that something would be really good for something to change in a conscious way rather than waiting around for something to happen, which is usually something you don't want to happen when you do it that way. So instead, plan intelligently and understand what your choices are. Margot's the gal who can give you the understanding of what those things are all about. So I'm really happy to be working with her because as we all know, there's lots of people in that position. And as our nation changes its demographic, it's going to be a central concern for everybody is how are we going to deal with the fact that we all change and we need different things. What's right for one person is not right for another person. And we're not a one size fits all group anywhere. And so those are the strengths that I see about what it is that Margo has to offer. And,
yeah, no, that's perfect, Betty. And yeah, we're certainly not a one size fits all group, and including our clients. I think you and I both
yeah,
have the thing is everybody who comes to us is a different spin. There's something else, something new that they need,
yeah.
and we offer. So I guess you mentioned that you took Margo through a process of writing some scripts for her
Mm-hmm.
biography and also for parts of her introduction. So
Mm-hmm.
then I got into so she's come to me. We've had 2 sessions so far where we're recording those video clips, and then and those clips are going to be used into eventually going to be used for marketing online, but they're also going into a membership area, which we're by some coincidence is called Your Perfect Retirement Living. Yes. So yeah, so we're so I it's been a interesting process because it really helps that people have gone through and talk to Betty first before we get into what I'm doing. And so that makes it very it streamlines the whole process. It's all by that time Margo's more confident in what she's saying, what she's speaking on camera, because she's already gone through the process with Betty to learn about what it is, and it's going well. So the thing that we're hoping Margo can jump on to pretty soon is we're going to continue through, like once we started creating her basic short videos, it became evident she also needed help with her online course. So we're helping her put together that. I'm doing some more video related to that and creating a membership area for that. And I can and while we're waiting for Margo to come, I can give you a quick tour of what that looks like.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And okay, I'll just share the screen here.
Yeah, I just also want to mention while we were working on the scripting, the templates were kind of a jumping off point. Margo's content was very original and it was related to the templates, but certainly we are not restricted by them. They're meant to stimulate your imagination and get you going on your own expertise. So take it away, Greg.
Yeah, it is. It can be a creative process, and then when we're doing the video, sometimes it's worth saying it in a different way and trying something else. According, because it's a match between what the message is and what the person is comfortable with. Fortunately, Margo is passionate about this, and she's always talking about this. So we she doesn't have we don't have to prompt her to speak about the issues. So
Hardly, no, yeah.
so okay, I'll give you a quick tour of what we got here. So there's we created a quick sign up page here, and we're going to talk about that a bit more later. But if you've already signed up, the process is that you sign up for the course, and you get a login link and a password and your username, which is your email address. Oops, and I can't click on there. I got to go to the other window. It's not that magic. So, anyway, so this is what we have so far. There's actually quite a bit in here. One of the things was the biography that Betty had worked on with translated into into Margo telling a number of stories about her early experience with her grandparents, her first job, and then her parents, and then early assisted living facilities, and then she's been working with Silver Lining Senior Living. So it's quite a bit. Each one of these is about 10 or 15 minutes long, and you certainly, by the time you've got through these, you get a pretty good sense of who Margo is and what her passions are and what her interests are. So she part of got into the business that she's doing now, a lot based on personal experience and interests. And then the next thing that we're almost done implementing here is your perfect day exercises. Basically, she asks you to go through everything that you envision for your perfect day. Just brainstorming. You write it down on a piece of paper, and here, I'll just give you play the video.
Some of you are ready to get started on finding out what is available to you and how to choose. If that is you, please keep this in mind. You may be putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, so there we go. So there's a description here, and then you can chain through to the first exercise, to the video introduction, and then we're putting a little bit of a summary there. Again, all these things are very active. She wants you to write them down. Why do you want those things? That's a really good question, right? So I skipped over the last section, but the idea was it says, why do you want to do those things, or why do sort of, it's really a process of like, you can brainstorm, and then when you go think about it, is that what you really want? So at the end of these exercises, you're going to have a very clear idea of who do you want to be with, and that's a very important question too. And all of these are interesting. Her insights into the whole process is very good. And then the course modules will be, there'll be an introduction. Stay where you are. Now I'm gonna give Margo's starting point is, if you can possibly stay in the house where you're at, get in extra care. That's almost always going to be your best option, but it's not for everybody. And then the course will talk through 55 plus options, independent assistant and CCRC options, and maybe we can get her to explain what that is when she's on, and then explore some fun options. And then the other element of this is she has a private Facebook group, and a lot of the weekly discussions and questions and answers will be in that group. So it's very, very complete. It'll be very complete, and there'll be more added as we go. She mentioned to us that she has some other videos that we'll probably add into that membership area later as we go. So it'll be a very valuable resource for you to work through the process, making the right decisions. And one of the things is how to communicate well with your family, because I think we've all seen it. Not everybody has the same ideas about what's good for you.
So. Yeah, and that's a really important point. Especially like the great question of, why do you want these things? Because is it what you really want, or is it what you think you should want? Those are two entirely different worlds. And especially when you start talking with family members and people who are close to you, you have to start making those distinctions in your own mind and in the communication that you have, because people may have, as you said, they have ideas of what's good for you that don't necessarily work for what you want for you. It might make it better for their idea of how they think things should be. But, there's a lot of different factors to consider in those kinds of things. And Margo's really good at opening the doors and saying, well, hey, I remember in this case study that I had, that this is what happened. And are you having a similar experience? Then, ask yourself some other different questions while you're working on getting this communication to a more productive and creative level. So. Not everybody's having a bad time with their family, but some people are. Yeah. And so,
I was very fortunate with all my family and siblings. Were all on the same page when we had to make some decisions about my mother. But I know others who just couldn't ever agree, and it ended really ugly.
Yeah.
So one of the stories that Margo said in the video that I recorded was, um, as a social worker, one of her clients phoned up and she said, "Could you go see my mother? She's really depressed. I'm worried about her." Anyway, so Margo went to see the mother in the facility, and she said, "Your mother's not." The mother said, "I'm not depressed. I'm just angry." Because I guess the scenario is she had been living on her own with her husband, and she hadn't really been active in the accounting, the taxes, the finances and stuff. And when her husband passed away, her daughter didn't ask her. She just took control over everything, sold the house, and moved her into a facility. And so she wasn't even given an opportunity to be involved with it at all. So that's
Yeah.
what she was just angry with that, and that's what kind of we see is what are the best things. And I think that's the key to Margo's course is what really understand what it is you need and what it is you want, and
Mhm.
and then figure out how to communicate that to your family so
Yeah.
that they're going to work with you to achieve that.
Yeah, and again, it may not be what you think you want, and when you really go back into it, I mean, we change over life, right? And so what really rang your bell 10 years ago may not mean anything to you now,
Yeah,
and maybe your family doesn't even know that,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So,
no, no, for sure. And even with yourself, right? One of the things was the one I skipped over was how carefree do you want to be, right?
yeah,
You don't want to ever do any lawn maintenance. You don't want to do, and the example she gave is, I don't want to do any cooking. And then the answer was the response was, well, wait a minute. I've seen you have, hosting dinners, and you just seem to have great joy in cooking dinners for your friends and family, and says, maybe you're a little too quick to check that off the list. Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are good questions. I mean, like, using myself as an example, I did farm to table as a lifestyle for many years. I mean, I not only cooked for everybody, I grew the food first.
Yeah,
And now I don't cook very much. I mean, I cook a couple of times a week for me, myself, and I, which is a huge crowd, believe me. And it's do I love to hate to cook? I don't even know. I mean, I always enjoyed cooking. I just don't do it anymore.
yeah,
Would I be happy to cook if the occasion arose where I was suddenly 16 people were needing to be cooked for? Sure. But the last time I was in a group like that, everybody else was cooking and I just cruised in and it was great. So I couldn't even tell you, do I love to cook or not? It just hasn't been happening. I guess I do. I just don't do it. That's what I mean. So do you hate to cook? I mean, yeah, I don't know.
yeah. So I like cooking once in a while, but I'm it's the 30-minute net total time, right? But
Yeah,
that includes a roast. You can make a roast dinner, which is 30 minutes of preparation, and the oven's doing the work. I'm
right.
not I'm not sorry. My sons one time made turducken one Christmas, and that was like a 2-day affair.
Yeah, 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 yeah. See, that's the thing. And like when we do have a family reunion, my youngest son absolutely loves to cook. And it's hilarious because my daughter-in-law will go, okay, all of you women who love to cook over there, here's the food. She's like, but she doesn't cook. He does all the cooking.
Yeah. When we had twin boys, and they were going to go into in Canada, you go grade 7 is sort of elementary school, and then grade 8
Mhm.
is the junior high.
Uh-huh.
And we went to the local high school, and there was a couple of young women gave us a tour, and there was the home economics cooking class, right? And I think somebody asked how many girls took cooking. He says there aren't any girls in that class. It's all boys because they've got food. We're doing shop and other stuff.
That's hilarious. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's a good point to that. I mean, I always told my sons, now you need to learn how to cook and learn how to sew because you don't want to end up dependent on some woman.
Yeah,
And
and
they
it's
did,
probably yeah, and
Yeah.
it's probably a good dating strategy to be able to cook.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the reasons my son landed his lovely bride
Yes.
because of his cooking skills. Yeah. Well, I don't know if Margo's going to be able to get here today. I
Yeah.
know she had a concern with a client, and it may have taken
Yeah.
longer than she thought.
Yeah, things happen. So I guess we should just talk about if you're interested in taking a look um, at the program. There's an ability here to, let's see. Maybe I'll go back here. Of course, remembers every click.
Yeah.
Wasn't just as easy. Okay, so there's here this and the original idea is that she would sell this at $149, but we're offering it for $22 a month. It's partly because we're adding more things to it. It's not completely done, but it also is affordable way to try it out. And what you do is you hit the join now button. He'll ask you for your credit card information, your email, all that kind of stuff, and then what'll happen is you will get a notice that in your email that you with your username and password, and then the email will have a link, but it'll be the equivalent of getting you into the course area here. So yeah, so that's that, and if you're interested in that, just give it a shot. And again, that's this Margo Arrowsmith program, Your Perfect Retirement Living. And any last words?
Well, I think it's a terrific bargain for $22. I mean, you can jump in there and get the benefit of understanding the flavor of Margo and what she can do to help facilitate that transition. That give you some grounding, help you get your bearings, give you some strategies for understanding where you are and what you truly want, and how to let the other people in your life know what you want and work with you to make that happen.
Yeah, no, perfect. And it's coming from somebody who has a lot of personal experience with her family,
Mm-hmm.
and also has worked in the industry for pretty much most of her life. So she's seen both sides. She's seen some really things to avoid,
Yeah.
and really good things to look forward for, and lots of solutions, lots of options. And the whole thing is, her thing is information. Ask for information, not advice or opinions. Information to make the best choice. And this is a perfect place for you to start. So yeah, go check it out. Sign up for it. Give it a spin. See if it's for you or your family. So,
yeah, or someone who's going, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is happening. Send them over to this, and they can get some real support.
Yeah, for sure. That's really good. Share it with anybody you think might be interested in.
Yeah.
And anyway, thank you for joining us today, and it's been fun. And talk to you soon.
See ya.